Establishing an agreed-suitable system for the governance of Uganda was a critical issue that the 1989 Constitutional Commission, led by the former Chief Justice Benjamin Odochi, sought to settle.
The 1962 Constitution, when they made it, they put there what I would call grenades or atomic bomb. You had a country which had a federal system, which was Buganda. You had a semi-federal from the other kingdom, semi-federal. Then you had the North, which had a unitary system. So the country was being governed by three different systems, which was totally wrong.
The Commission recommended a unitary system with a strong devolution. The Constituent Assembly delegates tasked with the drafting of the Constitution upheld the position of the Commission. However, it was with a fight from the Federalists.
It was a hot issue. Particularly Buganda's demands for federalism. So for them, sort of breaking away from Uganda, they wanted to go back to that special position of a province and a government, a semi-federal government as they had.
Chintu Musoke served at the time as the chairperson of the Buganda caucus in Parliament. He equates the task of ensuring fellow Baganda participated in the drafting of the Constitution for the 18 months to a battle.
And I was able to will Buganda into it. Some people wanted to walk out and so on. But because of my leadership, we did not walk out.
Contention had arisen in the Constituent Assembly as the unitary system of governance received the majority of the support against the wishes of Federalists.
These quarrels of kingdoms, right? The issues of kingdoms and whatever, and land, those two issues, they made some of us felt there was no need. You can even have kingdoms, but a state must be a state. It must be managed the way it should be managed.
I wanted it. I wanted a bigger region for local government than these small districts. And now they have even made it worse. And you know, some people here are so nasty. We had counties. They didn't want counties because Buganda had counties. You know, they were making it with a hate. You should do this thing because you want the country to develop.
No, we didn't want Buganda to have a special position. We wanted Buganda to be part of Uganda. Not in a special way. But of course it hasn't worked. And now I think they are working out their own special way, in their own way.
Decentralization turned into an adopted system of compromise.
As the middle ground was okay. Let's not go full federal, but let's have some elements of federal in decentralization. Let's make districts really powerful. Give them sufficient powers of taxation, give them power to appoint their executive secretaries and so on and so forth and so on.
Also, the government introduced a system of regional tier through the Constitutional Amendment Act of 2005, which reads in Article 178 that two or more districts may cooperate to form a regional government to perform the functions and services specified in the 5th schedule to this Constitution. These functions and services include secondary education and tertiary institutions, except national universities and other national institutions, regional roads, regional referral hospitals, forests other than national parks, and to levy surcharge of fees subject to the approval of the central government.
We had to work hard to convince as many of them. At least we broke the outright federal system and introduced the tier system. I was very instrumental in introducing that tier system so that Uganda should not be different from the rest of Uganda, but any other area of Uganda which wanted it to have a tier, they could form their own. Then the Baganda refused to take up the tier system. But we had installed it in the Constitution, and it is part of the Constitution.
The regional tier in constitutional law, and I'm an authority in constitutional law, is a meaningless slogan. That is why it was rejected by the Parliamentary Council after passing it to become part of the law. The Parliamentary council questioned the legitimacy of using the word tier. In the abstract, it is meaningless. It is cynical. It is skeptical. It is ambiguous. And it was dropped. So, government led by President Museveni should be ashamed. In the constitution now written under Article 178, they write regional governments. But in the parliament which passed the regional tier, there was nothing like that. It was the parliamentary council that helped Ugandans to rename the tier with the word government.
Later, President Museveni argued in an interview he conducted with the Sunday Monitor in 2010 that in regional tier, we did the maximum that one can put up without interfering with other crucial elements, since we were mixing decentralization with the districts and those who wanted some level of the region, some tier. President Museveni contended with those against the regional tier that I don't think there is more one can do without interfering with the basic aims of both devolution of power and national integration and regional integration.
I suspect why people did not, why the regions did not take it. Because there is a provision which gives the president power similar to the one the president has about the districts, that the president can take back.
So in that law, which is sham, that law is meaningless. It was deceiving Ugandans that when they get it, they will have got the federal system of government. But there are so many deficiencies in that law, so many contradictions. That law assumes that the district will be competing with the region. Under normal federal conditions, the focus and the goal of the region is the same as that one of the districts.
There is concern that the decentralization system has shifted from what was intended during the framing of the Constitution.
What we are talking about now is no longer the system we put in the Constitution. But even in what you have now, you have two power centers. You have an elected government and an appointed government.
Over time, we have seen that power being withdrawn, brought back to the central. So in effect, what we thought was a consensus has failed. We have now a fully fledged, powerful unitary government.
The number of districts has since increased from the initial 39 in 1996 to 146 with 10 cities and 132 municipalities. Jackson Onyango, NTV.